Okay, so the algorithm keeps bringing me videos about this topic, and it made me have a thought. Okay, so y'all know I don't do content about the man woman thing because I don't care about it. I'm not looking for a man. I'm not interested in the man. I don't care what men are doing. I don't care what men like. Not my monkey, not my circus, not my monkey, not my thing, right? So I don't do content about men because it can get tricky and sticky on these streets with that content. But I've been getting a lot of content about like women saying, men have small dicks now, and where are the big dicks? And these men don't have dicks anymore, and all the dicks are really small, and blah 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 blah. And I don't think there's a shortage of good men. I think a lot of the good men have small dicks, and women are opting out of that. And let me explain. Especially women who are older. I think if you're a young woman, you're more likely to deal with, fall in love with, put up with a man with a small penis for whom you may not be sexually satisfied with. Okay, so when you're young, you meet the guy, and he's a good guy. He's a good provider. He's not a cheater. He's a good guy, but he has a small one, right? And you don't really enjoy sex with him. It's not pleasurable for you, but you're young and you're trying to build, right? So you're trying to build a family, you're trying to have kids, you want to have marriage. And so when you're younger, you have the capacity to compartmentalize what is happening in relationship with men. And so if you want the house, if you want the picket fence, if you want the kids, if you want the nice cars, if you want the double income, and if you want a provider per se, and that man is a good man, you will make the exchange. You will sacrifice good sexual relationship because that man is bringing everything else. Now, part of that is, and when I say good man, I'm using that very loosely because we know even the worst woman is the best man, right? But let's say he's a good man, but he's a man that you got together when you were young, you married when you were young because the goal was family, house, children, and you needed each other for these things to be. But he's not maturing with you. He's not growing with you. He's not evolving with you. And so this good man in that, let's say he's a provider, doesn't cheat, he doesn't beat on you, because that is the standard by which men call themselves good, right? Like if they're not beating you, if they're not cheating on you, and if they're providing for you, that's the standard by which they say they're good. So let's say they're that guy. But now you're no longer 20, you're no longer 30, you're into your 40s now. And you have grown, changed, and evolved, and you see the world different, and you're still married to the 20-year-old frat boy. You're still married to the 20-year-old frat boy who is not great in bed. And so by the time you get to 40, and you are making the decision to divorce, right? Because that's, I think this shift happens a lot for women in their 40s or late 30s, early 40s, and you make the decision to divorce. What you're not willing to do, because you probably did that all in your 20s, all in your 30s, is settle for bad sex. Because see, the man now, the stakes aren't the same. You don't need this man now to build your first home. Like a lot of times your marriage is where you get your first home or second home, where you have some equity, you got some money, you built some form of wealth, right? You don't need a man for children. You've already had your children. You don't need a man also for provision, right? Like maybe you've had a job. Maybe your first husband, you divorced, you got money, whatever. So you don't need the man for provision. You don't need the man for children. And you don't necessarily need that man for the idea of marriage. So then what then becomes important to you is because you didn't have it in the marriage, you didn't have it in your 20s, is you want to be in a relationship where you are sexually fulfilled. And then you go out and the good men that the other women married in their 20s, that the other women lived through, they're also on the market with you. But now they're on the market with you with small dicks. They're on the market with you. They're on the market with us. But now we're getting the other women's good men with small dicks. And you're at a stage in your life where great sexual chemistry, great sexual is important because you've already done the other thing that society told you was important as a woman. You were married. You did buy the house. You did have the kids. The kids all went to school. They all went to college. And the only thing you may not have had in that marriage, in that relationship, was a healthy sexual or sexually fulfilled marriage. So now, as a woman, you want that. But what's on the market is the good men with the little dicks. And so I don't think there's a shortage so much of good men. I think a lot of the good men are men with little dicks. And a lot of the women have already lived that. They lived that in marriages. And they don't want to spend the second half of their lives compromising and giving up on having great sex simply to have a man. And I think we live in a society that has trained both men and women to think that good sex is only important to men or sex is only important to men and that women shouldn't have an expectation to have good sex. The only expectation they should have from a man is for that man to be a good man. And so if that man doesn't fulfill them sexually, they should just cope and deal. And a lot of us just aren't.